to lay down your life for your friend. In this video, we're going to talk about John 15:13, and it is, "There is no greater love than she who lays down her life for her friends." I was given this card with this Bible verse on it when I was in high school, and back then I thought it meant dying, like sacrificing your own life for your friends. And back during that time, I was really struggling with mental health and wanting to be alive. So I was like, sure, like I would lay down my life for anybody. And I always envisioned these scenarios when I was like running after the shooter and dying for my friends, which is like weird, but I was never afraid of death. I've never been afraid to die because some part of me growing up just felt like I wanted to die, like I didn't want to be here. And it was this Bible verse that really changed things for me. That's the way that I saw it back then. But now I see it in a deeper light than before. And so I want to talk about it a bit later on. But I have to share a story of mine because I've been experiencing so many signs and synchronicities. It's meaning that I'm aligning with my higher self. I'm aligned with the reality that I desire. And when you're aligned with the reality that you desire, you start seeing like insane signs and synchronicities. My grandma was experiencing some heartburn. I don't know, I said it like that, heartburn. But I went out to the store to get her some medication, and she lives like 30 minutes away, so I'm driving along, and then I see this cop kind of pulling out of this church. And I look at the church sign, and it says, "Make time for remembrance, John 15:13. I wouldn't have saw that sign unless that cop was pulling out. I honestly probably, because I was looking at the road, probably wouldn't have looked over, but I was meant to look over, and that's what caught my eye. And I was like, I need to take a picture of this when I go back home. But when I was at my grandma's, I felt drawn to look through some stuff, and I found this book. It was called "The Confident Woman, Start Today Living Boldly and Without Fear." That really caught my eye. And it's by Joyce Meyer. She's like a very Christian. And so I was like a bit hesitant because of my like religious trauma and background. And I was like flipping through some of the stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't align with that. But my grandpa had passed away in 2020, and I was like, I could feel the resistance, but I could feel him pushing me to like read it anyway, to do it anyway. And because of the fear really caught my eye, with overcoming fear, because I've been really trying to overcome my fear a lot lately. Guilt is worry that is rooted in fear. We feel we don't deserve forgiveness, so we won't receive it. We worry about what people think of our past sins. We are afraid they will never forgive us or see us as good people again. Guilt has everything to do with the past, and it has the power to ruin your future. Get over it. But I really align with Christ consciousness, and this perfectly ties into what I'm going to talk about a bit later of my interpretation of John 15:13. There's the wisdom in these books that I'm being led to, and I was being challenged to let my ego go, to let that past old resentment of the things that I had to go through in my life with religion and religious trauma, and to let that go in order to take what resonates and leave what doesn't, because there are a lot of wise sayings in here. And what I found the coolest about this book was that it was given to my grandma by one of her friends a year before she died, and it's heavily annotated, and I'm like reading these highlighted parts, and they're really aligning with me, and I get to see more about this person than I didn't even know, who's already passed, and her wisdom and her insights of what she took away from this book. And it's very magical. It's like I was meant to find this book, and I'm literally have the chills right now. I literally have the chills because when things like this happen, you're on your path, you're following your purpose, and you're aligning with your higher self, and the reality that you desire. It's like it's being pulled into your current reality, and it's like meshing and mending together. It's like, I don't even know how to explain this stuff, but I just am sharing my experience because that is what my channel is really about, showing you that you can create the reality that you do desire. I just want to share my experiences of these signs and synchronicities, because if you are experiencing this, then you are aligning with that higher version of you, and it's just so cool. Before I found that book, I found this old picture frame with another Bible quote in it, and it says, "Let all that you do be done in love." 1 Corinthians 16:14. And that really ties in with John 15:13. And unconditional love. My grandma had taken the pills, and I stayed there for a little while just to make sure that she started to feel better. And then I started making my way downtown. I started making my way home. And I was like, I have to take a picture of the sign. So I like whip in to the parking lot of the church, and I get out and I take the picture of the sign. And as I'm pulling out of the driveway, I see an orange full moon. I knew that it was going to be a full moon that night, but I didn't know that the moon was going to be orange. I found a video later on that this is called a strawberry moon. I'm not too familiar with astrology. I know some things. I know like my life path number and a lot of other just random stuff, but I'm not like amazing at astrology. And in the video that I saw, they talked about how it was a strawberry moon. It's a moon in Sagittarius, which I'm a Sagittarius, and it talked about good luck, abundance, things are shifting in your life, especially within the next 2 weeks. And it also mentioned the signs Virgo and Pisces, and all like those signs are really significant for me. So I just like laughed out loud so hard because it was just very significant. I got the chills. I started, you just like get so excited because like things are happening, and it's just amazing. It's an amazing feeling, and it's an amazing thing to witness. There's going to be a lot of shifts happening for those signs within the next couple weeks. And I am taking a big trip, and it's like my first solo trip, and I'm a little nervous, but I know that I'm meant to go where I'm meant to go for this spiritual retreat. And I know that there's like a lot of like healing portals and different kind of things there. I don't really know much about that, but I'm excited to experience what the universe has in store for me while I'm there, because I know that I'm going through some massive changes right now in my life. Let's dive into John 15:13. There is no greater love than she who lays down her life for her friends. And I used to think it meant just laying down your life. I mean, I'm sure it can mean that too, right? But I found a deeper meaning for me, and I feel like it means laying down your ego. So denying your ego, denying yourself, and letting go of your pride, letting go of all that stuff that keeps you in that anger and resentment in the lower chakra centers, in survival, in that fight or flight, in your pain body. And treating others as you would want to be treated, unconditionally loving them and forgiving them 70 times 7, no matter how many times. Doesn't mean that you have to keep them in your life if you feel that you no longer align, but forgiving them for they know not what they do because of unconsciousness. I've done a lot of things in the past that were unconscious, and I could not for the life of me see it. I could not see what I was doing wrong. I could not see my victim mentality. I didn't know how to get out of that. I was just trying to survive. I was in the lower 3 chakra centers. I was in survival. And I feel that a lot of people are living from their survival chakras, their first 3 chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. But I've learned how to clear those lower 3 centers through the blessings of the energy chakra centers, meditation with Joe Dispenza. I've done that too many times to count because it's amazing. It really has helped me live from my heart. And I can tell now when I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like a blockage within one of my, because I'm not aligning with living from my heart chakra. You want to be living your life from the upper chakras, but I can tell like I'm really in my heart chakra the last year. Coming back to the ego, it's letting go of the resentments that you're holding against your friends. For me, some people very close to me, I refused to tell them that I loved them because I didn't feel accepted by them for who I was. I had this major epiphany in the shower about this like 2 years ago or maybe a year ago. And I was like, wow, like I'm holding on to resentment. I'm not allowing love within my life. By holding on to resentment, you're not allowing love into your life. And so I realized, do I want to hold this grudge? Do I want to hold this resentment against these people that I'm really close to? And I don't want a relationship where there's this division. I want union. I want to be like, we're all one, we're all connected. Separation is an illusion. What really made me see this was seeing everyone as God. Seeing everyone as God. Would you treat, like, or Jesus or whatever, or you, seeing it as you, would you do that to yourself? Like, really think about the actions that you are doing, even in your judgments. Because a lot of the times when we're judging someone else, it's because we want what they have to some degree. I was at this wedding and someone made a comment about this girl going crazy and dancing crazy and kind of like, oh, I love judging and people watching to judge. And I'm like, I thought about that and I was like, maybe she just wants to get out there and dance too. Maybe that's what's going on here. And a lot of people don't really have this self-awareness, and we are stuck from our societal conditioning to judge other people, to bully other people. But you got to realize that that stuff is going to come back to you in some form, in some way. And so it's really important to treat other people like you would want to be treated. A lot of the times we let our ego get in the way of things happening in friendships. We allow those things to negatively impact both of our lives. There are a lot of times when I went back to the people in my past and apologized for the way that I was behaving, because I couldn't see it then. I was unconscious to it. But now that I've come conscious to the ways that I was behaving, I took accountability for my actions. And I think that's another thing with laying down your life for your friends. It's taking accountability for your actions, willing to admit when you were wrong, or when you were acting from a space of unconsciousness or hatred. I had to work through a lot of beliefs, because some of the times, especially within the religious community and the way that people treated me, it was just like, how could you be so mean? Like, how could you do such a hateful thing to somebody else? I just could never understand that. But I realized it was unconsciousness. And we have these experiences and these friendships. Everyone in our life is someone who we agree to meet. That's how I like to see it. For our highest good, to experience these things, even like our bullies and the people who did the worst things to us. It was for our highest growth. A lot of that can be hard to accept. Through letting go of the resentment that I was holding against these people from my past, I learned that greater love. What it was like to lay down my life, lay down my ego, put my ego aside, and truly embody unconditional love and Christ consciousness, forgiveness, and treating other people like I would want to be treated. Through laying down my life. That's how I see laying down your life. I mean, I think it'd be easier just to die, but it can be really hard for people to let their ego go. I've witnessed this every single day. Like in many ways, it's all over online. Like so many people are stuck in their ego and they can't even see it. There are moments when I'm still, I do unconscious things. I notice that I tend to get angry around before my period, and I feel like a lot of women do. But realizing that is my unconsciousness, and having that awareness of it, and labeling my pain body Veruca, so that I can identify that, hey, that's not me. And it has helped so much, because I'm like, oh, this is why I'm feeling angry. It's because of this. And then I'm like, okay, I have to show myself grace and be weary to others and be like, hey, I'm not feeling my best. I'm sorry. And taking accountability. If I snap at someone and I just get angry, saying, oh, I'm sorry. I'm going through this right now. I'm on my period right now. Or being honest and not being ashamed. I don't understand why we're ashamed to talk about periods and stuff like that, because I was kind of taught that, and with other people it was just like this shameful thing, but it's not at all. Just being honest, even if it's embarrassing, even if it's shameful, even if you feel guilty or whatever, like whatever feelings that you are feeling, it's important to work through those things, work through those feelings, work through those lower 3 chakra centers, to start living from your heart, to start laying down your life for your friends. Because when you heal yourself, you are healing the world, you're healing everyone else, because the people you come in contact with, you're changing their life by sharing what you've learned, by embodying unconditional love and Christ consciousness. You are helping the world, you are helping heal the world by healing yourself and living from your heart center. And when you lay down your life by letting go of your ego, not being afraid or shameful or whatever to forgive or to apologize for your unconsciousness, and you don't have to go to that person and apologize. I think that can be good sometimes if you don't think that they're open to it, or if it's somebody who has passed away. I love to just talk to them like I'm in the room talking to you guys right now. That's how I like to work through things, because even on an energetic level, they can feel that. It's just like when you have dreams, there's some kind of energetic connection. When you have dreams of other people, there's some kind of energetic connection. Basically, you don't have to go back and apologize. If that scares the crap out of you, do it energetically. If you are apologizing to someone who you no longer want an energetic tie with, I would do a cord cutting ceremony. A lot of the times for me, a lot of thoughts of past people will come up, and I will just literally Edward Scissorhands cut that shit out of my life, like cutting the energetic cords. Like, I don't want to be thinking about these people anymore because it no longer serves me. I've learned my lesson. No thank you. Bye-bye. But I gotta do those Edward Scissorhands to cut those cords, man. To me, laying down your life does mean, dying for your friends, not being afraid to die for your friends, but also it means letting your ego go. Especially if you're holding anger or resentment and you know that it's negatively impacting you. I mean, stuff from years ago, if it's still negatively impacting you, maybe work with that and let go of your own ego. Why are you still holding on to it? Start questioning these things about you, or why did I treat that person the way that I did? I was really unconscious to it, but now I have this greater understanding of why I did that. And, I want to take accountability for that and make things right within the connection. And you can do that energetically. You can apologize to that person, whatever you feel most comfortable with for you. But when you start laying down your ego and tapping into unconditional love and living from your heart, living Christ consciousness, then you experience that greater love. When you're fully doing this for everyone in your life, when you're laying down your ego for everyone in your life, and you're calling yourself out, you're taking accountability for your actions, you experience the greatest love. It's like this, your heart just bursts open and you're living from your heart. And there's no greater love than that. And to experience this and to be able to say that I have loved all the people in my life with this great love, with this unconditional love. And I have taken accountability and I let go of my ego. I was holding on to resentments for years. And I decided to say I love you to those people who I was not saying I love you, because I was holding that anger. I was holding that resentment. I was withholding love from them. So I was withholding love from myself, because that's essentially, like, we're all one. So essentially that's me. And so that's God. And I'm withholding love from God. Therefore, I'm withholding love from myself. And when that logic hit, it was just like, wow. And now I have so much more loving connections. My relationships in my life with everyone is so beautiful and so loving and so egoless, and more operating from the heart than the ego. You can't kill the ego. The ego is part of the human experience. But the more that you have the awareness of the ego, the easier it gets to pinpoint your pain body, and labeling it really helped me a lot. Veruca, chill out, Veruca. And then taking accountability, like if you were being mean and being angry because of unconsciousness, because you're in pain, you're in your pain body, and you're like, take accountability, like, oh, I'm so sorry. And when you're taking accountability for your own actions, you're developing a better relationship with that person, which is essentially God. So it's just like you're developing more loving relationships for yourself, with yourself. I don't really know how to describe it, but I just know that it worked. Through letting go of this anger, this resentment of the past stories that I was attaching to people, I also realized that the more that I held on to the resentment and attached those stories to those people, I was calling that into my now. And it was staying stuck and stagnant in my current reality because I was attaching those resentment, those anger stories to that person. Like, oh, you did this thing to me and I'm never gonna forgive you. I'm gonna hold on to this for the rest of my life because of your actions and the way, it's like, it's blaming the external. It's like being in the victim mentality that these external things are happening to you and you have no power. But when you realize that you have the power over yourself, you can control your actions in the way that you do things. You can choose to be in your ego, or you can choose to lay down your life and not be in your ego and take accountability and forgive and unconditionally love others as you would want to be loved. And this is fully living from the heart and embodying Christ consciousness. This quote, John 15:13, "There is no greater love than she who lays down her life for her friends," had such a big impact on me because this one person gave me that card with that Bible verse on it. And it changed my life because I wasn't really a big fan of the Bible. It was just like, this is boring. Back in the day, back in high school, I feel like a lot of people probably felt like, oh, this shit's boring. Like, what the fuck? What is this stuff? But this quote deeply impacted my life. And I started to embody that even when I was in high school. I started to be a better friend. I tried to do the best that I could to show up for other people, to take accountability for my actions, and to unconditionally love others despite what they have done, despite their unconsciousness. Even though I didn't quite understand the fullness of that quote that I do now, I still was embodying what I know that it means now. And that's amazing that this one person impacted my life so much that it made me be a better person, that it allowed me to unconditionally love others, to take accountability for my actions, to forgive, and to treat others as I would want to be treated, and fully embody this. I hope that with the understanding of this quote that I shared, that it helps you. I was actually, a couple years ago, I wrote this poem, and it's called John 15:13. I was inspired by that card. I really got into writing poetry after a lot of things happened to me that were really unfathomable, and I was trying to work through it. I worked through it a lot with poetry, and so this is one of the poems that I wrote. It's called John 15:13. "I had to walk through the fiery pits of hell to come out the other side finally alive. I would suffer the trials of the devil over and over just to survive, so I could finally be able to be by your side. It took me so many years of pain to become clear-eyed. I asked God to bring me back to you, no matter what the cost. My mind, body, and soul went through a bloody holocaust. I laid down my life for you, to become the person you always saw my potential to be. A person that was buried deep inside of me." And that person that was buried deep inside of me was my authentic self. The version of me that laid down my ego, that laid down my life for others, taking accountability, being that higher version of myself, getting out of that victim mentality, working through all that I had to go through, and coming out stronger on the other side, still standing. And honestly, I don't know how I am still standing, but I did it and I made it, and I'm so proud of myself, and I want to share the stuff that I've learned with anyone who will listen and anyone who is open to it. so that I can help the people that I am meant to in this lifetime. Because we all are meant to help other people in some form, in some shape. Maybe it's just a smile while you're walking by and it shifts the energy and makes their day. Maybe it's just saying a nice comment. There's been so many people who have said so many nice things to me, and it just totally makes my day and makes me feel so much better, and like, wow, there's people who are so kind and compassionate and loving. And the more that you focus on those kind and compassionate and loving human beings, the more it amplifies in your life. And when you yourself treat other people as you would want to be treated, you are creating a more healed world, a better world, a more unconditional, loving world. I could have easily stayed stuck in the things that happened to me, and I could have never gotten up. I could have lived in that. I could have taken my own life, because that's the way that I felt for years. I was stuck in that. Part of me is surprised that I'm still standing, that I'm still here. Especially in high school, I struggled heavily with that because I couldn't see the light. But having that one person show me unconditional love and give me that Bible verse so that I could take accountability for my actions, and just having that one person make such an impact on your life, that just goes to show how much one person can change things for you. One person who is embodying that unconditional love within them has such a huge impact on people, and that's what saves lives. And that is also a way to lay down your life for your friend, is unconditionally loving them, even when they don't want to be here, even when they're struggling, even when they can't see the light. It's showing them the light, reminding them of why we're here, to unconditionally love others, to have fun, to live in joy and to play, and truly enjoying the time that we have left on this planet. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support. All my love, Ash.